everyone, how are we today? Just doing our full moon shadow work reading. Okay, so it is the full moon in Leo. We've got that for the 13th of February 2025. I understand that, yes, it is the 13th here in Australia. That may be the 12th for others of you elsewhere in the world. I have sort of noticed that this year all the full moons, Australia is actually, date-wise, the dates are going to be a little bit different. For, depending on whereabouts in the world you are. So I will be doing them on the Australian time days, but just be aware that that may actually be a different day and date for you personally elsewhere in the world. Okay, but as with any full moon, we do have, that energy does last for, a day either side of the peak. So about a 3-day energy for a full moon energy anyway. So, we are sort of covering the full 3 days. This particular full moon is a very interesting one because we do have Valentine's Day the very next day. And being a full moon in Leo, it is actually already very, very connected to heart energy, love energy. Okay, so we are seeing that theme very strongly this year, this month with this shadow work reading. Okay, so it's all about stepping into your own power. Themes of self-expression, creativity, your confidence, as well as, what sets your soul on fire, your true passions and desires, having a bit of fearless enthusiasm, so getting out of your comfort zone a little bit here, taking actions towards your truth and your true goals, the things that, do set that soul on fire. So it is very amplified with romance and desire, being very mindful that the Leo energy can actually make external validation feel more necessary for you at this time as well. So you may be sort of looking to others to make you feel a certain way about yourself at this time. So that tends to be a little bit of the downside with this particular full moon. That enthusiasm, sometimes it can just go a little bit far with any full moon energy as well. But reclaiming your courage, your inner truth and your radiance. Okay, so really allowing your inner fire and your inner strength to shine through in this full moon. Okay, so being the most confident version of yourself who chases their dreams, who really has that internal fire spurring you towards your true passions, both in romance but also just in life in general. Okay, make sure you do subscribe to the channel, of course, so you can keep up to date with all the readings. We do have the full moon shadow work readings every full moon, so every month. Okay, the full moons are really great for integrating the, balancing both sides of ourselves, that yin and yang duality. But we do also find new moons are really good for manifesting. So, the full moons, we clear out the stuff that's no longer working for us, and we, bring it all together in a bit more balance, so that by the time the new moon comes around, that we're ready to manifest all those desires and the next bunch of things for ourselves that we're wanting to look at. So today we are going to look at love as our shadow work theme, which, love is a very positive emotion, but we do still have quite a lot of shadow work attached to themes of love. Okay, today I will be using, we have the Deep Love Oracle card deck, and my standard full moon reading deck, we have the Red Hand Lenormand as well. Okay, but I am going to be doing things a little bit differently this month. We will be looking at 3 separate themes within love here, just so each individual sign I will be covering sort of a message specific to 3 separate themes of shadow work when it comes to love. So firstly, we have self-love, okay? Love for oneself, and what is holding you back from being able to love and accept yourself. Okay, we have receiving love. That does seem to be a big one people struggle with. It's one thing to give love. That tends to be something people find relatively easy, is to share love. Obviously, once again, very individual thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that you do find it easy to share your love, but receiving love does tend to be a hard one for people to, really come to terms with as well. That, a lot of the time, especially when in conjunction with that self-love stuff, if we're not loving ourselves, we find it really hard to accept somebody else's love for us. And we do, struggle to actually receive love, and we have this tendency to push away and self-sabotage and feel as though we're not worthy for somebody else's love. One of the main things I do want to sort of say to everyone as a collective when it comes to receiving love is it is not actually your choice whether somebody loves you or not. Okay, receiving love, it's actually more about being grateful for the love that's being offered. All right, so this is an interesting topic to me, but receiving love is actually, it's not up to you to choose for somebody else who they love. You choose for you who you love and who you're willing to give your time, your love, your energy to. But if somebody else chooses to love you and somebody else loves you, no matter how unworthy of that love you feel, it is not your choice. They chose to love you. They choose to love you. They maybe see something in you that you can't even see about your own self. So try to remember that when it comes to, being open to receive love as well, that sometimes you're taking somebody else's choice away from them. If you're saying, oh, you can't love me, no one can love me, you're actually taking people's choices away from themselves, and you're making that your own choice, that you're saying, okay, I feel like no one should love me, so therefore I'm not going to let anyone love me. So you are kind of taking that choice out of their hands. All right. We will also, delve onto the past love trauma stuff as well. All right. So we all kind of have some of that running around, whether it be, from past actual romantic love interests. And quite a lot of people, do have past love trauma related to family as well. All right. So, or friendship groups and things that have happened in the past, feelings of, being loved, or feeling needed and wanted within friendship groups, within family groups, things like that as well. So we will be touching on those 3 things here today. As always, I do there will be timestamps in the description box, so you're more than welcome to jump to your other placements. Your moon sign, your sun sign are the ones I'm recommending for this particular shadow work. Some of you may want to check out your Venus as well, especially if you are aware that your Venus placement is a strong placement for you. You may want to check that one out as well. All right. And if you are someone who does really, really struggle with self-love, maybe your Mars might be one you might want to look into a little bit as well. All right. But we're going to start our readings today with a Leo. Now, like I said, this is a Leo full moon under the sun of Aquarius. All right, so we will be seeing certain signs affected the most. We will be looking at obviously Leo and Aquarius, but also Scorpio and Taurus. So you guys are probably the signs most affected this particular full moon. All right, but getting into it, like I said, starting off with Leo today. All right, so Leo, we are going to start off with the Deep Love card deck, and I'm going to get 3 of these cards out, one for each sort of topic within our shadow work topic today. All right, and these ones are kind of more along the lines of advice and, sort of self-affirmation-y type things to, help you resolve those negatives within those aspects of, so just something to get you thinking more than anything here, Leo. But starting off with self-love. Self-love for Leo. The issue of shadow work revolving around self-love for our Leos. Okay, and receiving love. Shadow work for Leo regarding receiving love. And shadow work for Leo regarding past love traumas. Shadow work for our Leos regarding past love trauma. Okay, so Leo, starting us off here, looking at self-love. We do have the spark card. Okay, that does say igniting the spark of love, keeping passion alive in the everyday. So, that's talking about here, there may be some really good things you can be doing for your self-love and for integrating, more love for yourself into your daily routines as well. So things like affirmations might be really good for you. But, with that being the spark card, just that little spark of getting up each day and saying to yourself, I want to love myself. I want to, think about self-love. And even if you're only able to do that, once a week or every day or whatever it is for you personally, setting that little spark within yourself to get that fire burning, Leo, of, just the idea of self-love for you, yourself. What does that mean for you? What ideas does that spark for you when we talk about self-love and the negative stuff in your own self-love? What are ways that you can actually make yourself feel loved by yourself each week? Maybe something that you can, some sort of activity that you can do for yourself. One that I find is popping to mind here for you, Leo, is it's an affirmation in the form of drinking water. So, that seems to be, that's a daily thing that we all get up and we, have a glass of water or whatever. So have a glass of water every day. When you drink your glass of water, before you drink it, hold your glass of water and say to your water, I will love myself. I will love myself. When I drink my water, I will fill myself with love for myself. Drinking my water is a form of loving myself as well, so I feel like that may be something that might really help you find that little spark of self-love within yourself. All right. We do have receiving love. We have history coming through here. That one does say writing your history together, mapping out the future. So, for receiving love, this is, basically a bit of journaling for you here, or you can do this in your head as well, Leo, but it's really, stopping and thinking about your history and how you have received love. What has made you feel loved in the past? What is your history of being able to receive and being able to feel love from others? And mapping out how that is going to, enable you to feel love for your, from others in the future. If somebody does X, Y, Z, that makes me feel loved. Okay. A lot of the time with shadow work, all it takes is that conscious thought, that conscious awareness of that in order to sort of get the ball rolling on the shadow work. Okay, when it comes to past love trauma for you, Leo, harbor. Seek the emotional harbor, finding peace in each other's embrace. So, I know that these cards are, termed in the phrase of, with a partner, but this is about finding emotional harbor within oneself, finding that space where, if you do start being affected by past love trauma, if you do notice, oh, I've done this in the past, you've just already looked into your history when it comes to how you received love. So, seeking the emotional harbor in those moments in the history there, and finding peace in, with, will enable you to find peace. So finding the peaceful moments of your life that have enabled you to survive the past love traumas here for yourself. And every time you are overwhelmed with that past love trauma stuff, finding a safe harbor, somewhere that is a safe memory for you to bring up to yourself every single time. You know, anytime any of those bad love memories are popping up, finding one of those safe love memories to sort of harbor your emotions in when that does pop up for you here, Leo. All right. Shadow work for our Leos regarding love. Shadow work message for Leo regarding the themes of love. Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is about my cards today. They just want to fly everywhere. I do need to see what that first card was. Okay, so the first card was the cat energy, which does tell me that, you know, there's a big part of you here, Leo, that is a stranger to love in some way, shape, or form. Because the next card I have is the masculine. Okay, so in that sort of a sense, you're kind of allowing the idea of love to be a stranger to you. You're allowing love to be something that is not felt. It's thought about. It's up in your head. Your emotions are actually a stranger to love here. You're thinking about love in a very rational, logical kind of a way, so that you can control the emotions rather than just allowing yourself to feel. Love is a heart energy. It's not a head energy. So you're kind of a little bit of a stranger to yourself, and that's why you struggle knowing love, Leo, is because you're trying to put a real rational spin on something which is not always logical, rational. All right. We do see the book coming through here as well. So we do see the need to educate yourself a little bit further when it comes to, you know, what love means to you. What is love? What is self-love? What does receiving love mean to you? What have these past love traumas led you to believe love is? How does love exist for you in your head versus how does love exist for you in your heart? All right, so that's some thinking, some food for thought, I suppose, Leo, for you with your shadow work message this month. All right, so you're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Like I said, those timestamps are in the description boxes. Feel free to subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated with all the future readings as well. And we will move on over to our Virgos. Okay, Virgo, looking at the theme of love for our Virgos, we are going to grab you an oracle for each of those subcategories there, Virgo. Starting off with self-love. Shadow work for Virgo on the topic of self-love. Shadow work for our Virgos when it comes to self-love. Shadow work for our Virgos when it comes to receiving love, being receptive to love. Shadow work for Virgo when it comes to receiving love. And shadow work for Virgo in regard to past love trauma. Shadow love for our Virgos in regard to past love trauma. Okay, Virgo. So when it comes to self-love, Virgo, we have acceptance. Fully accepting yourself for true love to take root and flourish. Okay, so there is some issues around self-acceptance and what this is why we're struggling with our self-love, because there's a part of you that you don't accept yourself just the way you are. I feel like for a lot of you here, Virgo, it's this energy of focusing so much on what I want to be that I'm not actually accepting that I am not that yet, that I am currently this. Okay, so you're needing to accept what currently is in order to get closer and closer to what you want to be. All right. If you can love what is right now, then that can take root and flourish into the version of yourself that you want to be. All right. So planting the seed in a way of accepting yourself. When it comes to receiving love, Virgo, we do have commitment coming through. Commitment is the line drawn of the future, painted with trust. So, when it comes to receiving love, you need to kind of do the opposite of what we were just talking about with the self-love. Okay, so when it comes to the love that other people are offering you, you need to trust that a little bit more to start with, and commit to the fact that people may be actually, drawing that potential future with you as well. So when you're looking at your own future here, you're seeing the version of yourself that you want to be, but when it comes to receiving love, you need to commit a little bit more fully to the fact that people are giving you this love for the version of yourself that you are right now, but also with the potential, knowing that you can grow into the version of yourself that you want to be. So with an eye on the future, they see not only the potential that you see, but they also see the you that exists right now that you may not see. Okay, Virgos. So for you, it does seem that acceptance of self is actually very intertwined with future commitments as well. So loving yourself, it does seem to be you are someone who is a little bit affected by this energy of this full moon, where external validation is actually a little bit of importance to you. All right. So, but I am picking up the message too that committing to that future version of yourself, even without the external validation, is important for you here as well. But trusting that when, trusting that you are receiving love. These people are not committed to you just because, it fills the time. No, trusting that these people are genuine in their commitment to you, Virgo. Trust does seem to be a way to help you receive love when it comes to your shadow work here. All right. In your past love trauma energy, it's actually quite straightforward here. It's a lot easier said than done. But it kind of, it's just sort of saying that, yes, this is something that I feel like you're already in the process of doing here, Virgo. It may not be as big of a focus with the past love trauma for you. We do have release coming through. Releasing the burdens of the past. Let your love fly free. Okay, so freedom is freedom from tying yourself, caging yourself to the past here. That you do not have to let that be a burden anymore. I do feel just intuitively quite a lot of you have grown quite a far way already when it comes to being able to deal with your past love traumas. So I feel like a lot of you are you're just up to that stage where you're able to release that energy now and let go of those past love traumas, and focus a little bit more on the self-love and receiving love. Okay, but Virgo, shadow work message for our Virgos on the theme of love. Shadow work message for our Virgos on the theme of love. once again, I'm seeing that acceptance, that self-acceptance is coming through a little bit here, the self-love stuff, Virgo. So that does seem to be your personal focus this full moon. We do have the stars coming through first. So this is where that vision of yourself, the future version of yourself that you wish to be, the version of yourself that you keep telling yourself, if only I was like this, I would love myself. I love my potential. I don't love myself right now. So you're seeing what you wish for, without accepting what you are. All right. But that is actually where you gain the idea to stir that up, because it's kind of working back. Like, it's kind of like for you here, Virgo, the way to find love for yourself is to kind of work backwards here. All right, so you have a very clear vision of the version of yourself that you wish to be, the version of yourself that you know that you could love. You have a very clear vision of that. Working backwards, that stirs up ideas for you on how to become that. All right, so I feel like for you, it's practical, actionable steps here that really helps you find self-love, Virgo. And that's, coming up with the ideas of, okay, well, I need, if that's what I'm working towards, what steps do I need to take in order to be that version of myself, in order to feel that love for myself? What, coming up with the idea of what lays between me and that being the truth. What's the in between? Coming up with an idea so that it stirs up the energy for you and gets you moving into, actionable acceptance of self, and sort of, once again, that understanding of who you are right here, right now, in order to, work out the in between. If this is who I am right now, this is who I want to be. What is necessary to get to that? And we do see the house here for you as well. So for a lot of you, once again, we are seeing your self-love does seem to be very dependent on external validation here as well. It does seem to be, a strong foundation within family and that sort of stuff. Within self here, the house does talk about your general stability and security. So you're on the right sort of path here, Virgo. Ultimately, there is a lot of security and stability within you yourself. It's just a matter of, are we looking at the right version of ourselves? Are we looking at the version of ourselves currently? And are we seeing, the stuff about ourselves in all truthfulness that we may not like about ourselves now? Because I feel like for a lot of you, that's the difference, right? Is the version of yourself that you wish to be, that you're like, okay, I have no problem loving that version of myself, is the exact same as you are right now, but without the things that you consider negative. So, you need to maybe become a little bit accepting of the current state of things of, okay, yes, this is a bad quality about myself. Yes, I tend to do this. I tend to react in that way, but being secure in that is just part of who I am. I'm secure in the fact that I am growing and I am going to change those things about myself. And that will really help you with your shadow work, specifically that self-love stuff. Okay, so definitely looking yourself in the mirror and not being afraid of what you see, Virgo, in order to start, trusting that you can be the version of yourself that you want to love. All right, you're actually doing quite well on the theme of love, Virgo. I'm not going to lie. It does seem to be relatively tame for you, not as dramatically horrible as shadow work sometimes can be. It's just kind of residual things, just, fine tuning, I suppose, when it comes to the work you're needing to do in the shadow there. Okay, so you're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Libra. Okay, Libra. Shadow work for our Libra. Shadow work for Libra. Focusing in, firstly, with self-love. Ooh, okay. That one wanted to pop out straight away for you. Shadow work for Libra when it comes to receiving love. Shadow work for Libra in regard to receiving love. And shadow work for our Libra in regard to past love trauma. Shadow work for Libra in regard to past love trauma. Okay, so Libra, when it comes to your self-love, we have the Mediator card. So it's a fine balance. You can see we've got the balancing rocks here in this image. It does say being a mediator, balancing the scales of emotion. So the way that you can love yourself, or something that you need to take into consideration when you are trying to love yourself here and focus on a bit of shadow work for yourself when it comes to self-love, loving yourself, feeling worthy. There is a big focus here on balance for you, Libra. So, and the balance specifically to do with your emotions. All right. So accessing for yourself that the negative emotions are just as important here as the positive are. They need to actually be in a balance because we need to see ourselves truthfully when it comes to self-love and accept both sides of the scale here. All right. So interesting that we're getting the balance for you, Libra. But especially too the imagery here that I'm getting with Libra, the scales, the balance, and then, the fact that we're looking at self-love. So we're looking at Libra, the scales, needing the balance, so it's all playing into your own self here, Libra, and it's all about balance for you this month when it comes to, feeling worthy enough of love and being able to love yourself. There's a strong pull balancing those emotions, that telling yourself it's okay to be happy. It's also okay to be sad. It's okay to give love. It's okay to receive love. It's all balance for you here. And the more that you balance your emotions, and so every time you're, thinking something sad about yourself, thinking something horrible about yourself, sit down and force yourself to think of something positive. Balance that energy out. All right. Maybe even it may be useful for you as an activity this month, Libra, to write a pros and cons list of your personal self, your qualities. All right. It may be useful to some of you, but make sure that you're balancing it. Every time you write one, you're writing the other. You're not sitting there and writing out a pros and cons list that is all just con. No. You're needing to balance it, making sure for every con, you then come along and find a pro about yourself. All right. Make sure it's in balance with yourself. When it comes to receiving love, we do have adventure. Embarking on adventures, discovering the joy of the unknown. All right. So I feel as though receiving love is not necessarily a huge drama for you here, Libra. The thing is that it's unknown to you. That's the message I'm getting for you here, Libra, with that adventure energy for your shadow work is how you give love. Because I'm getting a lot of references here for you in regard to the love languages. Yeah. So you give love to others in a certain kind of a way. What you're not understanding about your ability to receive love is, I want to ask you a question here, Libra. Do you only feel loved when somebody shows you love in a certain way? For example, words of affirmation. If somebody says to you, oh, Libra, I love you, you're amazing, you're so beautiful, does that make you feel loved? Okay. if the way that you receive love is words of affirmation, yes, that is going to reassure you, this person loves me. I feel loved. But if your love language of receiving love is gifts, well, this person, they might have said that they love me and they think I'm awesome, but they didn't give me anything to prove it. I don't feel loved. I don't feel loved. So there's a bit of a dysregularity here, Libra. So the way that you're receiving love, you've kind of got a very strict idea in mind of what love looks like to you, and you're not understanding that different people show love in different ways. So to that person that you're sitting there going, oh, they didn't give me a gift, so I don't know whether they actually love me or not. You need to actually stop and think about the other ways that, how does that person show love? And have they done that? I know that's a person that shows love by saying things, that they love me. Oh, and they did say that they love me, every day for the past week. So, allowing yourself to understand the difference and understand that, oh, that also means that they love me. Just because they didn't give me a gift doesn't mean that they don't love me. All right. So it's a bit of an adventure, and you're needing to embrace the unknown. Okay. So the ways that love are being shown that are currently unknown to you, you're needing to embrace those a little bit more and sort of start to learn how these people show love. Because, if you're not feeling loved, it may not be them. They may not intentionally be trying to make you feel that way. They may actually be trying to show you love, but they're just doing it in a way that you just don't understand. So this is part of the adventure, working it all out, embracing the unknown types of love being shown to you here. All right. Libra, when it comes to past love trauma, we have the tradition card. Creating new traditions to continue the flames of love. So with your past love trauma here, you are needing to, it's kind of like steer away from traditions connected to those past love traumas. Okay, so and create new traditions. All right, so if in a past love trauma you're aware that every single Valentine's Day they would get me 12 red roses, making sure that you make it known to people that I don't want that to be my tradition. I don't want roses to be my tradition for Valentine's Day, because that's connected to my past trauma. That's what so-and-so used to do. They would get me a dozen red roses. I don't want red roses. That does not spark joy for me. That's a tradition I want to change. I would rather, every Valentine's Day, that our new tradition is we go somewhere and spend time together. I don't want gifts. I don't want roses. Change the examples as necessary for yourself there, but changing that tradition of whatever's been set in the past to help steer yourself away from those past love traumas here. All right. Libra, shadow work message for Libra on the theme of love. Shadow work message for Libra on the theme of love. There's things changing, all right? Changing these traditions, changing the way that you're looking at receiving love, changing the way you're balancing your emotions and, pushing away the negative emotions that you feel for yourself. Maybe becoming a little bit more accepting of those and balancing those, the bad as well as the good, accepting both, not just one side of the story. So, because I feel like with the self-love stuff, some of you, you only see the bad in yourself, but you're not seeing the good. And whereas others of you, you're pushing away the bad and pretending it doesn't exist. And that's actually getting in the way of your self-love. We have here, firstly, we have the rider, movement. Okay, things happening quickly. We have the scythe, movement, things happening quickly, very suddenly, maybe unexpectedly for some of you. We have the coffin, which is a death and then a rebirth, a transformation. Okay, so it's kind of like very quickly out of nowhere, maybe very, very unexpectedly, we do start to change our perspective, transform, the way that we are perceiving love in general, receiving love, showing love to ourselves, receiving that from others, dealing with past love. It's all about changing it, closing the door on what has been and the way of doing things that's not working for us, so that we can start afresh, a brand new life, that journey into the unknown all over again, where it's a brand new energy, or it's a rebirth into a totally different way of looking at love in our life and how it affects us. All right. So definitely on the right track here, Libra. The shadow work is going to really, really help you. So I do suggest, taking it on board. There is an element here with this month too that I am finding this month there does seem to be a strong theme of igniting the spark within yourself, that just sort of thinking about these things and being aware of these things really is actually starting us off on a bit of a subconscious journey with the shadow work at the moment. So you even just being aware of this and sort of consciously thinking about these things, it really is helping bring everything together for you. Okay, but that's what we have for you, Libra. You are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the readings. And we will move on over to our Scorpios. Okay, Scorpio, looking at our shadow work for you and the theme of love, starting off with self-love. Shadow work for Scorpio in regard to self-love. Shadow work for Scorpio in regard to self-love, please. Shadow work for Scorpio in regard to receiving love. And shadow work for our Scorpios in regard to past love trauma. Okay, so Scorpio, self-love. Self-love. We have the surprise card. Adorn the everyday with surprises. Keep the freshness alive. Keeping yourself on your tippy toes a little bit when it comes to the way that you treat yourself. So it's kind of like trying to surprise yourself with some sort of loving energy every single day, where it's like surprise. I feel like for you, Scorpio, it's coming through strongly that you're kind of for your shadow work, it's like trying to surprise yourself each day with, or even if that's not a daily thing for you, do it as a one-off, do it as a weekly thing or whatever. Surprise yourself with, stopping and thinking consciously about a good quality of yours that, you forgot about, or you maybe didn't even know about in the first place. Trying something new and finding a new skill, all that sort of stuff seems to be coming up to the surface here. Focusing on different qualities that you admire in others, and really sitting down and working out, okay, well, I feel like there's this theoretical kind of activity here, Scorpio, where it's okay, I really admire that, this person has a lot of gratitude for, all the stuff that they've got in their life. They don't have that much, but they're so grateful for every little thing that they've got. And then sitting down and asking yourself, well, okay, if I admire gratitude in that person, how do I show gratitude to myself in my life for my, what is my quality of gratitude look like? And you might surprise yourself. You may have a lot more gratitude within than you realize. I think that that's kind of where that's leading you here, Scorpio, is finding a certain, asking yourself about a specific quality and finding it within yourself. And how do I do that? How do I, what about me shows that quality? Surprising yourself with, wow, I actually am that. I didn't really think I was that sort of person, but I am. Or I have the potential to be, or there's been a time when I have shown that quality, that skill. All right. For receiving love, okay, we do have the spark card. Igniting the spark of love, keeping passion alive in the everyday. I feel like for you here, Scorpio, this is actually kind of just talking about, just setting yourself ablaze with that little spark, putting that little spark in you, just saying to yourself in the back of your mind, I will be open to receive love. I want to receive love. I'm willing to receive love. And I feel like for you, that's all that's necessary with receiving love, that you just need to sort of start that little spark off within yourself. And before you know it, it's going to be a bonfire and you'll be opening up to love much more than you thought possible. All right. I feel like that kind of is all that's necessary. Just that little spark. Even just hearing me talk about it now might be that little spark enough for you here, Scorpio. When it comes to past love trauma here, we do have the polish energy. Forge stronger bonds through mutual polishing. All right, so this is actually an interesting one because, looking at past love trauma and then the polishing those, forging stronger bonds through mutual polishing. I feel like that's actually, it's not so much about the past love trauma, but it's about the future and what we're going to do in the future to avoid those same traumas in the future. And that is the polishing, the mutual polishing, that, we're going to forge stronger bonds by putting in, more effort. I'm going to, make an effort to shine, and, put in effort to really rub that raw, rub that connection raw in the future, so that we really get to the bottom of all this stuff that may have, led, and resolving those conflicts before they even begin, kind of thing. So, those past love traumas, it's kind of like this energy of like, maybe I didn't put enough effort into the initial forging of the connection. And we kind of just went with it and didn't actually put in consistent effort to, get to the bottom of, how do you deal with conflict? How do I deal with conflict? How are we potentially going to clash? And building the strongest foundation from the word go. So I feel like this is more just about you recognizing the need to constantly shine and get to the raw, from the word go, and forging those connections a lot differently, a lot stronger than you may have with these past love traumas. So for you, it's not necessarily shadow work to do with the actual past love traumas themselves. It's got more to do with your drive and your willingness in the future, using those as an example of, this is what I don't want to do because that's what happened. So in the future, this is what I do want to do. All right, so I feel like that's really going to help you with that side of the shadow work there. All right, okay, Scorpio. Shadow work messages for our Scorpio. Message for Scorpio on the theme of love. Message for our Scorpio on the theme of love. Straight away, we are seeing the mirror and the ring here. So that's going back to the finding, being surprised by who you actually are here, looking yourself in the mirror and being completely honest about, wow, I didn't realize I was actually this. I didn't realize I actually had that quality. Forging a stronger relationship with yourself by looking at yourself deep in that mirror, Scorpio, and being very truthful with, both the dark and the light sides of what you see here. I do feel for a lot of you, especially, that you're not seeing the lighter sides of yourself, that you have, typically dwelled very muchly in the negative. Oh, I have this negative quality. I do that. I'm bad like this. I'm, horrible like that. And you dwell very muchly in the negative qualities of self here. So this is, looking deeply in that mirror, finding the lighter sides of yourself, finding all your qualities, good and bad, and having a relationship with that person that you see. All right, regardless of who that person is. If you, at the end of the day, if you look in that mirror and you're very honest and open with yourself and you say, look, I see all these horrible qualities about this person, but you know what? I also see all these really positive qualities about that person. I'm going to have a relationship with that person and try to love them just as they are, good and bad. That's really going to head you in the right direction when it comes to shadow work. We do also have the mountain here, Scorpio. So, I'm not going to lie. It's going to take a bit of work. It's a bit of perseverance. It may be something that you have to refine those good qualities about yourself every single day. It's like that polish energy. You're waking up every single day and putting effort into that connection. Future connections, all right? Hard work. There is a bit of hard work and perseverance, but you can definitely do this. It's no longer a blockage. It becomes an achievement once you put in that work. All right. So your shadow work is asking a little bit of work of you this month, Scorpio, and that really does seem to be all about being very honest with yourself about your good qualities and putting in that work, waking up every single day and demanding it of yourself that today I am going to see a good quality in myself. I'm going to find a good quality in myself. And do you know what? With that mountain there and that perseverance there, keep that in mind at the end as well, that, if you can't find another good quality that day, at least you've had the perseverance to try to find that good quality. All right. That is an achievement all in itself. Perseverance and determination are fantastic qualities in yourself. Okay. So think about that as well, Scorpio. Very interesting, but you're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated with all the readings. And we will just take a short break and move on to Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, shadow work energy for our Sagittarius. Firstly, focusing on shadow work in regard to self-love for Sagittarius. Okay, shadow work for our Sagittarius regarding self-love. Shadow work for Sagittarius regarding receiving love, being open to love. Shadow work regarding receiving love for Sagittarius. Okay, and shadow work regarding past love trauma. Okay, past love trauma for our shadow work for Sagittarius. Just getting all your oracles out first, Sagittarius. Okay, so that first one there, the self-love energy, we do have recommit. All right, so what this tells me is that there has been a time when you have actually had much better love for yourself than what you do currently. So you are needing to recommit to the things that you have done in the past that have, helped you have that love for yourself. And it does say reaffirm your commitment after trials. proving love's resilience. So, you have had some trials and difficulties with self-love, but, I feel like there's a message here in the fact of those trials, those hard sort of parts of loving yourself, where, the fact that you have survived those, and that you still are you, and you haven't hidden from the truth of yourself. You're just needing to reaffirm that you still are the person that you love, no matter how much at times it's hard and whatnot. That you're recommitting to yourself, and making that commitment to yourself all over again, that what, I deserve to love myself, and I deserve to respect myself, and show myself those things. So for some of you, there is just this energy here of resilience. If nothing else, you have the resilience within you, Sagittarius, that has enabled you to stoke the fire, I suppose, within your own shadow work systems here. So you've already done the work. It's just a matter of recommitting to the fact that you've done the work, recommitting to the knowledge that you have learned, in order to love yourself, and reaffirming for yourself that, look, I am worthy of self-love. All right. When it comes to receiving love, Sagittarius, we do have memory. Treasure every shared memory, shining like jewels. All right. So this is really looking back at, the memory of love in your life. No matter where that's come from, whether that, for some of you, that may have been the love of a parent when you were a child, the love of a friend helping you out in a hard time, the, special moments between lovers. Those memories are what really helps you connect to the love energy within your own self, and helps you open your arms to receive that again. All right, so that one seems relatively straightforward for you, Sagittarius. It's all about finding the key to opening your arms to love in the memories of love that you have already shared in your life. Okay, so no matter, even if you are someone who has really struggled with love and receiving love in your life, you can create that moment right here, right now, between yourself and the universe, between yourself and Mother Earth. Spending time in nature and connecting to that, really does give you that sense of peace and love, coming from an external source, where opening yourself to receive that love. All right. When it comes to your past trauma around love, we do have the shield energy. Okay. So we do see find protection in love, being your own shield, using protection from, shielding yourself a little bit here from some of those past love traumas. So I normally would not recommend this with shadow work, to be completely honest. But there is an element here of, some of that stuff may just be a little bit more than you can deal with right now. And with shadow work, we don't want to, take on more than we can chew, and there is a need for you to sort of block, shield yourself from those past love trauma energies currently, so that you can focus on the self-love and the being open to love. That for some of you, there may be some stuff with those traumas where you're just not quite ready to work through that in a shadow work sense. Having that shield there, that you're protecting yourself and your love from those past love traumas. Sometimes that is all that is necessary, and over time we do slowly get little cracks peeking through, where we do start to deal with those things here and there. Or you may find that there is a time that comes where you are able to then remove that shield and face those past love traumas. All right, so but I feel for you here that it's not the time for you to be worrying about that aspect of shadow work. Okay. But just a general message for you here, Sagittarius. Message for Sagittarius with their shadow work, please. Shadow work message for Sagittarius. Yeah, so definitely not the right time to be facing anything too heavy for yourself, okay? So if you do have some of that stuff that is a little bit heavy, that is perfectly fine for you to block that from your, you're not needing to work through that too heavily if you can't face that right now. If you can't work through that right now, that is perfectly fine, Sagittarius, because we do see the masculine coming through first. So we do see the need for you to, be very logical with the way that you're approaching your shadow work. So, not pushing yourself harder than you can cope with at each sort of stage throughout shadow work for yourself. Really needing to just focus on yourself here. We have the tree. That's healing, okay? Healing, growth, taking care of yourself. So that's part of why there is that shield there for you at the moment, so that you can just focus on taking care of yourself and finding that love for yourself once again, okay? So that seems to be your main priority when it comes to shadow work around love at the moment, is refinding the love that you have for yourself, okay? So not allowing, that all that other stuff to affect you in a negative way here, to just sort of stand tall and strong and firm in knowing that you have the strength to do what you need to do to get there eventually, but you don't have to do it right now. You're allowed to put up this boundary between yourself and, things that are just a little bit too much to be taking on right now. Small steps, baby steps, okay, Sagittarius, step by step. You will get there eventually, but, right now your strength is really on focusing on yourself. All right, and your own healing and growth and I feel like for a lot of you, there is a message there about maturity and wisdom, especially with the masculine there as well, that, with time, as you do, age and grow more mature and more wise, that you will find that you have actually dealt with a lot of that stuff. Because I'm just sort of picking up an energy here that a lot of that stuff that's why there's that shield here, so that only small amounts can creep in at a little bit at a time, sort of thing, so that you're only consciously dealing with small amounts at a time when it comes to the past love trauma stuff, and that a lot of the shadow work that you may be doing with that is actually on a subconscious level. So that is perfectly fine, Sagittarius. Our subconscious is stronger than we think sometimes, and it can actually, do that shadow work, or large portions of that shadow work in our subconscious. Things like, starting to accept certain things within our dreams, going through the emotions of things in our dreams and things like that in our subconscious, and working through things, very step by step, and facing the broader issues that are affecting our current lives, rather than facing and tackling that particular thing head on. All right, so it seems to be the call for you there, Sagittarius. But you are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the readings that we have available. We do have weekly readings, as well as all signs readings every weekend, and then every month we do have these shadow work readings for the full moon. But moving on over to our Capricorns. Okay, Capricorn. Looking at shadow work for our Capricorns. All right, I will draw your oracles first here, Capricorn, starting with the self-love aspect of shadow work for Capricorn. Shadow work for our Capricorn regarding self-love. Shadow work for our Capricorn regarding receiving love, being open to love. What's the shadow work for Capricorn regarding receiving love? And the shadow work for Capricorn regarding past love trauma. Okay, Capricorn, and as I have mentioned to a lot of the other signs here, past love trauma can talk about, not just romantic love. It can talk about, family love situations from your past, friendship issues to do with, love and connection in your past here as well. When it comes to self-love, though, we are seeing expression coming through for you first here. Words are the messengers of the soul. Express your deepest loves and cares. This is coming through as an activity for you this month, Capricorn. Sit down and write yourself a love letter. Okay, it is Valentine's Day tomorrow. Sit yourself down and write yourself a Valentine. Write yourself a beautiful love letter telling yourself all the things that you love about yourself. Express the beauty of yourself, basically. Like, express yourself and your truth. Who are you? Who are you really? Look at yourself from an outsider's perspective. And, if someone were to write you a love letter, what would they say about you and the person that you are? The way that you give love, the way that you show love, the way that you, show up just in your day-to-day life. All those really good qualities about you. Don't shy away from the negative qualities either. They are a part of your truth. But really expressing yourself. Use your words this month, Capricorn. I do feel that there is an activity for you here. So I'm sending you with a bit of homework at the moment, Capricorn. It doesn't need to be a huge, dramatic, long letter. Some of you may just want to write a few little dot points of all the things that are amazing about yourself, but expressing the reasons that you're valuable to love. All right. I feel like for a lot of you, it will help you very much to step back from out, and write it as though you're writing about somebody else, or from the perspective of what would somebody say about you. So taking yourself out of the equation a little bit there with the writing that, but obviously writing about you, but. So even write yourself a poem, write yourself a Valentine, whatever feels right for you. For some of you, you may even want to, do a self-portrait and things like that. But, finding a way to express the reasons that you are lovable, all right, to help you with your shadow work around self-love. Pretty straightforward for you this month, Capricorn. You guys are pretty no nonsense, which we all love about the Capricorns. But when it comes to receiving love, we do have language coming through strongly. Libra did get a similar kind of energy. It wasn't the same card, but it was a similar message as to what I'm picking up on here. That one does say, learn the language of each other's love, communicate the depths of the soul. So when it comes to receiving love, Capricorn, you may want to look into the love languages, for example, because it's just talking about a discrepancy here between, the way that you perceive love and the way that you feel love. So it's like, if you look back through your life and you go, oh, I felt love this time and that time and this time. What was it how did they express love to you that made you feel loved? Because what's happening here is there is a bit of a discrepancy between the way that people show you love, and you are not actually realizing that is that person expressing love to you in their way. Okay, everybody does express love differently. So if I do feel here that quite a lot of you probably are people very linked up with words of affirmation and needing people to speak their love to you and express that in very tangible ways, where and Capricorns are quite often known to be gift givers as well. So but I'm kind of picking up that somebody may actually be trying to show you love through, like, for example, acts of service, quality time, spending time together and wanting to spend time with you. And you're perceiving that as something other than, this is them showing me love. All right. Whereas they're trying to show you love, but you are just not sort of picking up on that. So it's just kind of understanding that other people have a different language sometimes. Sometimes people don't use words. People don't communicate, by saying, I love you, Capricorn. They don't communicate that by, I'm going to shower you with gifts. They don't, people express love in many different ways. So it's really, stopping and thinking about the people that you care about in your life and looking at how that individual expresses love, and maybe making sure that you recognize that when they are trying to express love to you, it's just not in a way that is your way, Capricorn. All right. And then when it comes to past love trauma, kind of very happy to see this message for you. I actually have got 2 cards here for you, Capricorn, in regard to past love trauma. Firstly, we have the release energy. Releasing the burdens of the past lets love fly free. All right. So this actually really shows me, Capricorn, that this card talks about freedom, and that you're allowing yourself to let go, that you've done a lot of the work already. When it comes to your past love traumas, you've done a lot of the work already, and you've gotten to that stage where you can actually start to, release this out into the universe and let go of this trauma from the past love stuff. So that's a really good indication that you have been doing the work. Okay, Capricorn. We do also see the healing heart. So you are more healed than you realize when it comes to those past love traumas. I'm not actually seeing anything that you need to do here. It does say healing of the heart begins with forgiveness. All right. So if anything, you need to maybe forgive yourself for allowing that in your life. Because a lot of the time when we have something that has hurt us deeply when it comes to love, we beat ourselves up for, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable in the first place. Forgive yourself, Capricorn. So, if anything actionable for the past love trauma, it's forgiveness for yourself. But I feel like for a lot of you that's going to come back into that self-love and the self-expression stuff. I do feel a very subconscious energy here with your past love trauma. You're at that stage where a lot of that is going to be undertaken on a subconscious level. You don't need to actively force yourself to sit down and say, oh, I need to do some more work here and in here and with that. And, it's not coming through in that sense. All right. So for you personally, I'm just recommending opening yourself up to love and understanding that other people love you differently to the way that you love, but also, expressing your love to yourself. Really, really doing that little activity I mentioned there. But we will have a look here with the Lenormand as well, Capricorn. Shadow work message for Capricorn. Shadow work message for Capricorn on the theme of love. Interesting. We have the cross and then the ruins card, Capricorn. So it's time to start releasing some of these responsibilities of holding on to all this stuff. It's not your burden to shoulder anymore. That's the burden of the past. Okay, we've got the ruins there. So, it's fine for you to, put those burdens, allow them to go into ruins, those responsibilities, those burdens that you've held yourself to, these high standards that you've held yourself to when it comes to love. It's okay. It's safe for you to allow them to turn to ruin. All right. They're not part of you anymore. They're decaying. They're gone. They're in the past. They're decaying away from you. All right. The interesting thing that happens with these 2 cards together is that the ruins actually create brand new life. All right. You always think about it. Think about the post-apocalyptic movies that you see or whatever. And every time we go through an old city that, this city's been empty for 50 years and no, since the fall of humanity or whatever, and they go through this old city and you see the city and it's crumbling and it's falling to pieces, and there's only like the little remnants left of, humanity was even here, because what's happened is, the jungle overtakes it, or, animals, nature have overrun this city, and they've reclaimed that for their own, and they've brought about this whole brand new type of world into the ruins of yesteryear, so to speak. So that's exactly what's happening for you, Capricorn. So have faith. Have faith that the parts of you that have been ruined in the past, they are being turned into something completely different. All right, we're seeing those ruins. Humanity doesn't exist anymore. I'm just going to use that as the example. All right, so that pain, that hurt, that suffering, that innocence, not innocence, but immaturity. It's gone to ruin. We're seeing a brand new world unfolding right over the top of the ruins of yesteryear. I just keep hearing that phrase, ruins of yesteryear. But it's all about having faith in yourself, Capricorn. Have a little bit more faith in yourself. This is actually, it's a very spiritual energy here too, that, your spirit has overcome. Your spirit is overcoming. All right, that this is part of your destiny. That, as horrible as it is, all those horrible negative things that you've held yourself to in the past, that was part of your destiny, so that you could learn and grow and heal and become this brand new version of yourself, this brand new city overrun by nature. All right, we have the tree as well, Capricorn, which is all about looking after yourself, self-growth. I am picking up a lot of independence for you here, Capricorn, as well. So, branching off on your own and looking after yourself. I feel for a lot of you, it's really taking the time to look after you, not worrying about external forces of love coming into your life or being around your energy. You are the force to be reckoned with here, Capricorn. You are the force. All right. So, bring it, baby. You're healing. You're healing. You're growing. You're maturing more than you realize, Capricorn. All right. This is a really positive energy. Keep looking after yourself. Allow those trees to take over the ruins of yesteryear. I don't know why that particular phrase. It doesn't mean anything really to me personally, so it may resonate for someone in particular out there, that particular phrase. But you're healing, Capricorn. You're healing. Keep on going. It's part of the journey, and it's enabling you to really embrace yourself and your own spiritual self in lots of brand new ways as well. All right. Now, you are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel as well. Keep updated with all those videos. We will have the Capricorn reading will be uploaded tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that one. It did feel as though it was linking to... because I actually recorded it before I recorded this one today. You will notice it was the only one, because I was having... I've been having on and off issues with my technology, and I needed to get the Capricorn energy, because I'm a Capricorn, so sometimes I need to do the Capricorn energy at random different intervals, just to sort of get it out of the way, so that it's not being affected by my personal Capricorn energy. So I have already filmed that one, and it did have a sensation of linking very closely to this particular reading as well. So keep an eye out for that one tomorrow with Valentine's Day. But we will move on over to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, shadow work messages for Aquarius. All right, shadow work message for Aquarius regarding self-love. Shadow work regarding self-love for Aquarius, please. Getting all your oracles out first, Aquarius. So looking at the message for Aquarius regarding receiving love, being open to love. And past, well, I'll put that one with that with that one, receiving love. Past love trauma for Aquarius with shadow work messages, please. Past love trauma, shadow. Okay, there we go. Yep. As soon as I see it, I'm like, yep, that's the one. That's definitely the one. Okay, Aquarius, starting off with self-love, we do have the Resonance card. Self-love resounding throughout your soul. That is the phrase coming through to me there. Find the resonance in shared frequencies, feeling other people's heartbeats in sync with your own. All right, so this is actually, because we're looking at self-love rather than other people's heartbeats, this is actually finding that synchronicity within your own self, being in sync with your own self. So, definitely things like meditation and listening to frequency music, frequency meditation music. Really, really good for you at the moment. Breathing exercises where you are like paying attention to your body and what your body is sensing and feeling, and your heartbeat. All right, a very, very strong energy here. The more that you can get in sync with your own actual body at the moment. I am even picking up for some of you. For some of you, I am picking up on a random little exercise. Because I'm getting this weird message. I've never actually gotten this before, but it's telling me to do an activity connecting music to your own body. So what I'm sort of seeing is a metronome. The one that ting 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 ting. Like a metronome, or even if you've got an instrument of some sort, like a keyboard, for example, and you just go ding, 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 or, and syncing to your heartbeat, basically. So if and slowing your own heartbeat down by ding, 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 and syncing it somehow to music. And for some of you, it may actually be actual, songs as well, that you may be actually finding, a certain song. Every time you hear that song, you feel, it makes your heart race a little bit, because like a happy race, not a scary heart attack race, but a happy kind of sets my heart ablaze kind of thing. So there might be some music that sort of allows you to feel a little bit more in your own body, a little bit more in sync with your own body, especially things connecting up to the heartbeat rate. All right. So for some of you, there may be something like that. That might actually, it's just about, I feel like for a lot of you, it's getting in touch with your physical body and, reconnecting to the fact that, I am here on earth and, I have a heartbeat. And, and now I'm getting another message about connecting your heartbeat to the heartbeat of earth. So, whatever that might mean, something to someone there as well. But, because Aquarius, you're the star babies. You're the star babies of the zodiac, right? So you're one of your stereotypes is, Aquarius always off in space, sort of thing. You're the star babies. You're the aliens of the zodiac, yeah. So we're trying to bring you back down to earth at the moment, and remember that, yeah, you might be off in space, you might be the alien babies, but you know what? We're all stuck here in this meat packet. So sometimes it does pay to connect to the physical self a little bit more in order to, appreciate the wholeness of everything, not just, off in space. A weird kind of message I'm getting there for you, Aquarius, but we roll with the weird on this channel. But when it comes to receiving love here, Aquarius, we do have the bridge energy that does say, build a bridge of understanding, crossing the rivers of the soul. So in order to receive love, you need to compromise a little bit more. This bridging energy is like bridging the gap between yourself and others. So, finding the middle ground, compromising a little bit more, understanding how, it seems to be a very common theme today, understanding how other people love, understanding how you love, so that we can bridge that gap and meet in the middle. We do also see the mediator, being each other's mediators, balancing the scales of emotions. So, there's that bridging energy all over again, the balance. It's a fine balance. It's like you're at one side of the bridge, somebody else around you, it doesn't matter who, they're on the other side of that bridge. Just any loved one that, your family member, a friend, a romantic partner, finding the balance between the two of you. So we're not, falling off the bridge, basically. We're not, too many people on one end of the bridge, too many people in the middle. We're evenly balanced and balancing each other out and meeting each other fairly balanced, in the middle there as well. So being more receiving love is needing to give a little bit to get a little bit, all right? Needing to compromise that you're going to give a little bit of love in order to receive a little bit of love. I am picking that up here as part of your balance message. When it comes to past love trauma, Aquarius, fixing that table. I do have the metamorphosis energy, transformative energy. Every transformation in a relationship heralds a rebirth. All right, so you're growing. You're transforming all this past trauma into a reborn version of yourself. And I do feel as though you are actually in a pretty good frequency for love. Here, Aquarius, I am picking up that, your shadow work is not actually asking too much of you at the moment, especially comparatively. Some of the other signs we have seen some heavy duty, work. But here for you, this is a lot of this stuff is stuff that is just going to happen as it happens, and it's not you actually needing to go and put a huge amount of action into facing the darkest sides of yourself or anything like that. It's more about you just knowing that you're on the right path, you're on the right track, that you are transforming, okay? You are metamorphosizing, turning all that horrible past love trauma into, brand new love opportunities for yourself. And I just feel like reassurance is what's wanting to come through for you here, Aquarius, but needing to ground yourself a little bit in the meantime, not allowing yourself to float away too much, so that you can still find that balance with others, because there's no point opening up to love if you're floating up in the sky and everyone else is down here on earth. You're never going to be able to meet somebody halfway, because there's nobody that exists there. So nobody's going to sort of go halfway up to the stars to meet you halfway. You need to sort of come back down to earth, and then we can start our journey to the stars together. All right, so compromise a little bit more. Come back down to earth a little bit more, Aquarius. But general message for you here, Aquarius. Aquarius. Shadow work message for Aquarius. Aquarius. Shadow work message for our Aquarius regarding love. You definitely are on the right track, Aquarius. I must say I'm very happy with your energy today for a shadow work reading. It's quite good. And even if you still have a little way to go, you're definitely on the right path. You're definitely transforming all those energies where they need to be. We do have the hourglass first and foremost. Divine timing. Everything happens as it's supposed to for you here, Aquarius. That take your time, allow it to happen. Sometimes healing takes time. Sometimes compromise takes time. Sometimes grounding ourselves back to earth takes a little bit of time. Finding that resonance again. Allow it to happen on whatever time schedule is yours. That's different for everybody. All right, don't rush yourself. We also have the ring, followed by the feminine. Okay, so we do see you, strengthening relationships with your own emotions here as well. I do feel as though for some of you that's partly of what's going on with that bridge energy of receiving energy is you're building a stronger relationship with your own emotional self, so that you can cross that bridge to meet somebody else emotionally as well. All right, that's part of that transformation is strengthening that relationship within your own self to your own self. All right, so, find that resonance, and you will be, just naturally, divine timing, you'll just naturally be falling into the right schedule of strengthening relationships with yourself, both on a physical, and emotional, and, above and beyond levels as well here. All right, so like I said, super happy with your energy here, Aquarius, but you are more than welcome to check your other placements, specifically maybe your moon sign, being that it is a full moon reading after all, but also maybe something else for you, Aquarius. I am picking up a message that some of you may want to actually cross-watch somebody else's sign that you're, if you're dealing with somebody in particular and you're struggling with the love connection between this person, platonic or romantic, it doesn't matter. Watching their sign may actually help give you some clues onto what they need as well. So I am just getting that message to tell you about that as well. But please subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated with all the videos, of course. You're more than welcome to leave me comments so that we know your energy is at the top of the pile in the collectives. All right, Aquarius, but we will move on over to our Pisces. Okay, Pisces, looking at shadow work messages for Pisces regarding self-love, shadow work messages for our Pisces. Just getting all your oracles out firstly, Pisces. So, shadow work message for Pisces regarding receiving love. Shadow work message for Pisces in regards to receiving love, being open to love. As well as past love trauma, shadow work message for our Pisces. Okay, Pisces. So starting us off, looking at self-love, we do have harmony coming through for you here. Listening to the music of your soul, Pisces. All right, music may be really important to you at the moment to help with your self-love and your healing. Strive for harmony, even amidst the storms. All right, so even when it feels really hard, sometimes even more so, the harder it feels to love yourself, be happy with yourself, forgive yourself for the negative stuff, and focus on the positive stuff, being in harmony with the world, with nature, with the people around you is really going to make you feel that love just a little bit more. There is just something about especially that music is harmony for the soul for you, Pisces. I do feel a strong connection to music here for your self-love purposes as well. So some of you may sort of find that when you are struggling a little bit to love and appreciate you, put on some happy music and just enjoy being in harmony and having some time to just be you and be happy listening to some music. It may make the biggest difference without you even sort of realizing it at the moment, Pisces. Receiving love, we do have the anchor coming through strong. Okay, trust is the anchor of relationships, steady and firm. All right, so needing to work a little bit on our trust. So I do feel for you here, Pisces, that this is trust that this is what we're working on. I feel that that the fact that you may be a little bit untrusting of love that's being offered to you. It happens sometimes, not gonna lie, but trust is the key point for you in order for you to be able to learn how to open up to the whole idea of love a little bit more. And whether that's trusting yourself, trusting somebody else specifically, trusting the universe, trusting that God's got your back, the universe has got your back, whatever you believe in here, finding trust, finding that is going to really sort of steady you when it comes to opening yourself up to even just the idea of love, Pisces. And for some of you, that may be very important for you to be able to, be open and vulnerable, with love energy when it comes to connections and relationships as well. There may be a strong need for trust. I'm also picking up here, if that's the case and it's a specific person, you do need to communicate that as well. All right. But we do also see here for your past love trauma, we do have listening. Okay, so once again, the music theme coming through a little bit here. True understanding starts with listening in silence. So, just allowing yourself to hear, even just because I feel like for some of you, the past love trauma stuff, the story has become so twisted that you can't even bear to hear the truth of what happened. So for some of you, you may just need to sit with yourself and just listen to the feelings that you feel or have felt in the past, and just listen to the truth of what happened in the past. Maybe talk it out with somebody a little bit here, and listen to yourself telling the story, I suppose, to somebody. I feel as though there's something there about finding understanding about what's happened in the past just by sitting with it and hearing it, listening to the story of what happened. And if that's all that you can do is just sort of go over within your own self, this is what happened, and just stop and listen to that, rather than allowing feelings to take over or anything like that. Just listen to the truth of what happened. And acceptance, sometimes the first key is just acknowledging that, yes, that is my story. That is what happened. That is what I've been through. That is what this past love trauma is. Some of you definitely listening to your heart a little bit here too, and paying attention to, not just the story of what you've been through, but how it affected you, and just listening to the effect that's had resounding throughout your life. I do feel once again that there is an inkling here of, listening to music a little bit here too. So when the silence becomes deafening, music, go back to the self-love, music. All right, Pisces. But having a look here a little bit more generalized for you. Shadow work message for our Pisces. Shadow work messages for Pisces in regard to love. Shadow work message for our Pisces in regard to love, please. Not allowing the flame within you to go out, Pisces. Firstly, we have the candle. For a lot of you, this is partly why you're struggling across all these areas of love here is, because we do see with the candle energy, it's kind of an energy of waiting for something to come home. People put a candle in the window to, as a symbolic thing to call someone back home, someone who's gone missing, to call them back home. But I feel like for you, Pisces, that's kind of like just love in general, a part of yourself that is able to love. It's kind of like you're lighting the candle and just hoping that one day it will come back to you, whether it be love for yourself, love with somebody else, healing. Don't let that candle burn out. Keep lighting it every single day. Keep the remembrance of love existing. Don't allow it to burn out completely, Pisces. Needing to, once again, anchor yourself in the fact that love is possible and you can open up to love again. Trust that as long as you keep lighting that candle within you and you keep that little spark within you burning, that little spark of hope deep down within you, that it's possible, and you don't let that go out, you will get there, okay? You will get there. There's always a light in the darkness, Pisces. You've got that within you, so don't let it go out, all right? Because then when that light goes out, that's when the darkness takes over. So don't allow the darkness to win here, Pisces. relight that little light, that little spark within you every single day. We do have the ring coming through here as well as the clouds. Okay, so that does show me that right now you are, your relationship with yourself is very muchly up in your head. All right, the clouds is about your thoughts. So your relationship with yourself is very muchly coming from, a logical, rational standpoint. Whereas, love comes from your heart, not from your head. So, I feel as though that's kind of a coping mechanism for you at the moment, Pisces. But we are needing to sort of strengthen the relationship between that little fire deep down within us, and get out of our head a little bit, because at the moment, because you've been so stuck up in your thoughts, when it comes to even just the idea of love here, Pisces, it's actually allowing you to become a little bit confused and even more anxious about the whole thing. All right, so it's kind of like the rational, logical side of yourself is actually starting to take over a little bit in a negative way. So that's why you are sort of needing to get back in tune, in harmony with yourself a little bit more here, and just take a little bit of the pressure off thinking about it so much, needing to start feeling it in here, rather than allowing it to be a conscious thought within you. All right, because a lot of the time, Pisces, we can do like a lot of our shadow work subconsciously, and our heart processes these things while we're sleeping, while we're, distracting ourselves with mundane tasks, while we're sitting down listening to music. That's all part of the process of, subconscious healing. And I feel like that's kind of what is necessary here for you, Pisces, to just listen to your heart a little bit more instead of your head. All right, that will really help you resolve some of these, especially the past love traumas there, Pisces. But you are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all of the readings. And we will move on over to our Aries. Okay. Heading into Aries. Aries, looking at your shadow work messages today. All right, I'm just going to draw your oracles firstly, starting with the shadow work card for Aries in regards to self-love. Shadow work for Aries regarding self-love. Shadow work for Aries regarding receiving love. Being open to receive love. Shadow work for our Aries when it comes to receiving love. And shadow work for our Aries when it comes to past love trauma. Past love trauma, shadow work for Aries. That's actually very interesting. I'm going to just grab a second one for your past love trauma here, Aries. Past love trauma, shadow work for Aries in regards to past love trauma. It is. Wow, that is not what I expected in any of the readings today. Starting off with your self-love, Aries, I will come back to that. I was just having a little moment there of, oh, that was not really, seeing something a little bit unexpected. And it was, I should just trust my intuition a little bit more, because I was sort of told straight away what that was about, and then I drew a second card anyway. But when it comes to self-love for you and your shadow work, Aries, we do have the release energy coming through first, which is all about freedom. All right, it does say release the burdens of the past, let love fly free. So when I'm seeing this card, especially for self-love, Aries, it is actually letting us know that you've done a lot more work than you give yourself credit for. All right. You actually are, when we get to the point of releasing that energy or the negative energy, it does show us that you've done a lot of the work already. You've put in a lot of effort. So you're almost at that point of freedom where, you can release the need to really, really focus on self-love. Obviously we still want you to love yourself, of course, but you're at this point where freedom of self is a little bit more important for you at the moment. You have actually done a lot more of the work around the self-love stuff than you give yourself credit for. I'm strongly picking up areas that you're telling yourself, no, I haven't, but you actually have. The interesting thing is that this kind of lets us know that a lot of the work still needed around self-love, it's kind of subconscious now. You've done as much as you can do when it comes to taking actions, and setting that idea off within yourself. You've done a lot of the actions already. You've done a lot of the actual work here. So now it's kind of a subconscious thing, and a practice makes perfect thing. All right. So yes, we all have moments of struggle where we fall backwards, and today I hate myself kind of energy. And it's reminding yourself that no, actually, I don't. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, and focusing on some of the positives and just reminding yourself over and over again. Practice makes perfect. But it now does seem to be, you're free to start moving through the motions with that. That it's you're freeing up yourself to move on to other things now, and that is now becoming a little bit more of a subconscious shadow work factor for you here, Aries. When it comes to receiving love, we do have the language card. Who was it? One of the other signs got this in the exact same placement. Capricorn. So some of you may have strong placements in Capricorn. Both of you struggling to receive love in this manner. Was it Capricorn? They did have a similar message regardless, whether it was this actual card or not. And I believe Libra as well had a similar message. It does say, learn the language of each other's love, communicate the depths of the soul. So it kind of lets us know that there is just something, a little bit of kind of like a language barrier between you and others when it comes to receiving love and giving love. So it kind of lets us know that, it does connect a little bit to the love language stuff where, you may express love by telling people, oh, I love you. But they may not receive love in that way. They may be somebody who needs to, have acts of service in order for them to feel loved, and vice versa here, because I'm feeling that, you may be feeling unloved, but the people are trying to show you love, but they just show it in a different kind of way to what you understand. It's like you're speaking two different languages. So, this person is trying to say, Aries, I love you. But because they're not doing it in a way that makes, very obvious sense to you, you're not feeling it. All right. So it's opening yourself up to understand that there is different love languages, and that people express love in different ways, and that just because somebody's not expressing that in a way that is super clear to you doesn't mean it's not there. All right. And so maybe you need to actually examine, how exactly does that person show love? Yeah. That may be actually the way that they're expressing love to you, and maybe needing to spend a little bit of time, understanding that if they do that particular thing, that is them trying to give you love, and especially too, if it is a specific connection, this is something that does need to be talked about as well, in order to understand that, because I know for me, for example, I am someone who, when I am giving love, I'm someone that tends to show people that I love them by buying them things and giving them things, because I'm like, oh, I was thinking about you, so I want to give you something that shows you that I've been thinking about you when you weren't with me. And I'll do things like someone will mention, oh, I want this specific food, and I'll show up with that specific food that they mentioned, or I'll be shopping and stuff, and I'll see something and I'll think of that person and go, they would really like that, or they need that. I'm going to get that for them, and I'll give it to them, and so sometimes people don't understand that is part of the way that I show love. I'm not necessarily going to show love through what are some of the other expressions of love there that you know there's multiple ones, and to be honest, I'm probably a blend of multiple ones there as well anyway, but other people might only understand love being shared when it's outright spoken, that, oh, I love you, I ever told you how much you mean to me, like so there's different aspects here as well. All right. Now I'm a little bit interested with your past love trauma here, Aries. Okay. I'll show you what I've got here, because the first one I have is the Guardian energy. Guarding each other's hearts as precious treasures. All right. So this is, protecting, like protection against past trauma a little bit here. So you are a little bit on guard straight away against trauma. You are very protected, though. You do seem to have, a guardian angel around you when it comes to the amount of trauma that you've experienced in the past when it comes to love. And, love trauma, past love trauma, it's more than just romantic relationships. Okay, the foundation of love in our life starts in our childhood, with our parents and our siblings and our extended families, with our friendship groups and the way that we're treated by friends and those sorts of things, by our peers at school and all those sorts of things. So I'm picking up on, it's kind of like an energy trying to protect you from the pain and the hurt that you've experienced in the past, that there is a little bit of a blockage there, because it's like, someone sort of stepping in and saying, look, it's too much. You don't even need to feel that anymore. Just, when we're trying to focus on just protecting you so that you can move forward, not focusing so that, because if this guard wasn't there, you'd like fall down into this giant chasm of hurt and pain and maybe get stuck there, so kind of like this protective energy that wants you to focus forwards, not backwards. So it's kind of protecting you a little bit from facing some of the past love trauma. All right, so I am feeling for some of you that's far from now past, so it's not recent past trauma here, it's further afield. It does also give the energy here of people around you trying to help you do that as well, help you move on from some of this stuff as well. But we also, this is why it's very interesting, because I was told to grab a second card for you, and I was picking up for you when I saw that guardian energy, guarding others' hearts as precious treasures, that someone wants to, help protect you and help you, protect yourself from the pain that you've been through in the past. And there is someone in your energy that, wants to be like protective of you and protective of your heart and protective of your future love. That there is somebody very it's kind of like a nurturing energy, guardian angel type energy as well. So some of you may have someone in your life that is trying to help you, trying to help protect you from the hurt and the pain, and especially from you falling into that chasm, Aries, and trying to protect you from dwelling too much on the past and trying to help you focus forwards rather than backwards. But we do also have rekindle coming through here, Aries. Rekindle the old sparks. Let love bloom anew. Very interesting energy, because it does show us that there is something in the past where there was a spark of love there. And let love bloom anew. So it's kind of like there's a, even if it's just general without an actual person attached to that, it shows us that there is this spark within you, Aries, that has passion for love, has desire for love. Yes, it's very protected because it's been hurt so much in the past. But keeping that little spark alive within yourself, hope that love could exist for you again, regardless of what's happened in the past. In order to know that love can come again, love can bloom, love can be, love can exist in my life in the future. All right. So I really feel as though when it comes to past love trauma, you're being asked to focus forwards, protect yourself from, the hurt and the being drawn down into this spiral of past emotion. And rather than that, allow yourself to, burn with the fire of, what, I didn't deserve that in the past. So, I'm going to burn with this burning desire to have better than that in the future, to, restart my heart in a way, and have love open up to me in a brand new way that, even if it's, because I am picking up for some of you, there is a specific person attached to this rekindle energy as well. So this rekindle energy, it may show us that because of your hurt, you have allowed a spark to, die out a little bit in the past. And there may have actually been a little bit more in that, because it kind of feels like that spark in the past, it may have traumatized you even more because of the existing trauma, if that makes sense, because you were so wrapped up in the idea that love hurts, love only hurts, love is only traumatic, that you allowed good love to traumatize you, because you were so closed off to receiving love, and you were like, well, I don't feel love, so it's not love. But now you actually stop and look back at different expressions of love, and you're like, ooh, just because they were speaking French and I was speaking Mandarin doesn't mean there was not love there. I just couldn't understand it at the time because I was in that spiral, So for some of you, there is actually a person there connected to that as well. But we're focusing more on the shadow work stuff today, Aries. So we'll have a bit of a general look here. Aries. What's going on for Aries with shadow work around love? Messages for Aries. Shadow work regarding love for our Aries. How do we get out of that, though? How do we get out of that? Aries. Shadow work for Aries. So Aries, it's if we have happiness on the bottom of the deck there. So, and how we get out of this is we need to choose it. We need to consciously choose different for ourselves. All right, because I am seeing that what is going on for you is we have the clouds. You're stuck in your head. You overthink things quite heavily here, especially when it comes to love. You overthink things, and do you know what? Love doesn't come from your head. It comes from your heart. You're not feeling your thinking. You cannot use logic and rationality for something that has no logic. Love does not have logic sometimes, Aries. So get out of your head and start just feeling the love, not thinking about love, feeling the love and emotion. Because we do also have the ruins and the void. All right, because being up in your head so much, it's taking you down that spiral. That's why we're seeing this guardian spirit come through for you here, because you are very much at risk, especially when it comes to your past love traumas, Aries. Especially when it comes to your past love traumas. You are at risk of spiraling out of control here, and allowing yourself to spiral into negativity, get yourself sucked into the black hole, because you're only focusing on the ruins of what you have lost, the ruins of what was. You're not focusing on what could be in the future. All right, because the ruins is very interesting, because yes, we can, get sucked down into that black hole, and all we see is, the ruins of what was. But, think about a post-apocalyptic film, and what happens, 50 years after humans are wiped from the earth. Nature takes over. There is growth. There is healing. The humanity crumbles to the ground, turns to dust, but nature takes over. There's vines, there's trees, there's animals, there's life. There is life on the other side of the ruins, all right? It may just look a little bit different to what you thought, all right? It doesn't look like a city anymore. It looks like a jungle, but there is life there. And so we are seeing here that you need to consciously choose. We have the crossroads here. See the light at the end of the tunnel, Aries? You need to choose it. If you want that happiness, if you want that sun to shine, you need to choose it. You need to consciously choose. And I feel like, repetitive energy here. You need to get up every single day and re-choose that. Choose freedom. Choose to release the past. Choose to, release past ways of thinking about love and all that. Choose a new path for yourself, Aries. Choose happiness. And, speaking from personal experience, happiness it's not something that we just go, oh yeah, I want to be happy, and then all of a sudden we're happy. No. Happiness is something that we have to continually choose over and over and over and over again. I've been there, Aries. I've been there. And I have clawed my way, I'm not going to swear too much, I have clawed my way back out of it. But do you know what? It took a lot of hard work. I had to make new decisions. I had to look at things from new perspectives. I had to refuse to see the darkness and choose to see the light instead. I had to choose happiness every single day. Sometimes more than once a day. Sometimes something happens and you straight back to where you were, sucked straight back into that spiral. Choose it. Choosing happiness is a decision for a lot of us. We need to actually consciously choose it. Use your free will for good and use it to force. We've got free will, Aries. So it means what free will means is that you're not destined to have this void existence forever. You have free will to say, nah, F that. I don't want that for myself. I want happiness. I want sunlight. I choose happy. I choose to be happy. It's hard work. I'm not going to lie. It's hard. It's a fight. You've got to claw your way up out of that hole. You've got guardian energy around you to help you. That's for sure. All right. So start choosing it now. And you might need to choose it for, the rest of your life. You might need to choose it for a month. You might need to choose it for, a week, a month, a year, a day, the rest of your life. Choose happiness, Aries. All right, but sorry for getting a little bit hectic there, Aries, but you are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, let me know if that resonated for you. And we will move on over to our Taurus. Okay, Taurus. Shadow work messages for Taurus. Shadow work messages for Taurus. Going to draw all your oracles firstly, Taurus. So firstly, we will shadow work message for Taurus regarding self-love. Shadow work message for Taurus regarding receiving love, being open to love. Whoop. And Taurus shadow work message in regard to past love trauma. And a second one for that one, please. Okay. Taurus, firstly, looking at self-love. We do have the repair energy, all right? Carefully mend the cracks in your relationship with yourself, restoring the past beauty. Okay, so what this lets me know, Taurus, is that you have loved yourself before. You just need to fix that relationship. It exists. It is there. Just because it's cracked or broken doesn't mean you can't fix it. Doesn't mean that you can't love yourself again. All right? There's just some maintenance work, all right, that is necessary when it comes to your self-love. Oh, sorry, Taurus. These shadow work videos can get quite long, and it's quite muggy here at the moment. All right, so really, when it comes to self-love, just knowing that it exists for you already, and it's just a matter of doing some maintenance work, patching up those little holes where the self-love is leaking out of you, and you're having these little I don't feel the best about myself today or whatever. Repair work. Okay, Taurus, nothing too strenuous for you with that arena. When it comes to receiving love, tolerance. Small bites. All right. Learn tolerance in love. Smooth out all imperfections. So small bites. Step by step by step. All right. So opening yourself up to love, small amounts at a time. You don't need to open yourself completely to the idea of love immediately, Taurus. Small steps. Small steps make light work. Make light work. Something along those lines. But as long as you start taking small little steps and building up your tolerance to, getting used to it, because I feel like that's what it is for you, Taurus. You're just not used to being treated with love by people, which, that really sucks, not going to lie. But there's people around you that are trying to show you love, and you just need to start accepting that piece by piece by piece until you actually can allow love in for yourself here. When it comes to past love trauma, that does seem to be a little bit more of a fighting spot for you here, Taurus. We have the guardian energy firstly, guarding your heart as precious treasure. So there is the need for you to guard yourself a little bit against some of the past love trauma, because it feels just like there's just a little bit too much to handle right now. Guard yourself against that. Allow yourself to be protected by the universe from facing that stuff head on. Acceptance will come when you're ready to face that. I just feel as though there's just sort of this little guardian angel just standing in the way of your past love trauma and you facing that right now. So it's just a matter of, maybe not the right time to really get too heavy with that stuff. It might just be a little bit too much to deal with all at once. So some of you, you may just find, little slivers will peek through here and there, and you'll face it. Awesome. Deal with that little sliver and put it back away. Later another little sliver, and then by the time you you know it, the whole thing is not really a drama anymore. And then you go to face it and you're like, oh, there's hardly anything left of this trauma. So, okay, cool. I don't actually have that much work left to do because you've done it piece by piece. I feel like, they're building up those tolerances for you, Taurus. Small little baby steps at a time. But we do have tradition coming through here as well. Create traditions to continuing the flame of love. So this actually talks about, denying traditions that are linked with your past trauma and creating brand new traditions with future love for yourself. The example I'm getting strongly with that one is, if, for example, like as an example here, if you're someone connected with your past trauma, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, right? So if someone connected to your past trauma would give you chocolates every Valentine's Day, do not accept chocolate as a Valentine's Day gift from future loved ones. Say, no, I would like to start a new tradition where, we don't do flowers and chocolate on Valentine's Day. We go to the park and go on swings, or, we go to Time Zone, or whatever, we go and do something fun and adventurous, or, something completely opposite, building a brand new tradition. We have a certain dinner, we have a baked dinner, we have pizza, whatever that new tradition is for you. Just swapping the tradition around a little bit and making sure we're not exacerbating the past trauma by, carrying on a tradition that was linked to something that you have negative connections to. All right. Taurus. Messages for Taurus regarding love. Shadow work messages for Taurus regarding love. It's pretty clear, because even when the first card came out there, it was telling me that can be a solo card, but I did go ahead and draw the other two cards anyway. We do have the coffin coming through for you here, which is transformation, transformative energy here, Taurus. You're in the process, all right? We're just, breaking the chains that bind us. All right, we have the chains there. So see how this coffin is covered in chains as well? The chains that have been tying us up and holding us back, we're breaking through those chains and we're closing the lid on them. We're throwing them away, getting rid of them and putting them in our past so that we can move forward in brand new energy. The coffin is a death and a rebirth. So death of the old you, and we're repairing that, transforming that into a totally brand new version of you that uses these chains for totally different things. They're no longer holding you back. All of a sudden, you're using them to lasso the new energy into your future. Using those chains that once held you back, using those chains to secure what you want in the future, and using them to forge a ladder that you like. Now you're making this chain link ladder to climb your way out of anything that doesn't suit you anymore. You're like, that's it, I'm ending that. I'm going to transform that into something that works for me. The death and then the rebirth. I want to be this, like a phoenix, reborn from the ashes of what held me back in the past. I want to bloom into this beautiful rose. Perfect for Valentine's Day as well there, Taurus, but blooming into this beautiful rose. Focusing on, blooming into the version of yourself that you really want to be, the version of yourself that is, loves yourself, loves love, loves to receive love, isn't stuck in the past. You're not stuck all the way down here in your thorns. No, you're this beautiful rose up here, open to receive love and to give love and to be love. You're not allowing anything to hold you back anymore. You're not allowing those chains to pin you down anymore. You're being reborn into a total new version of yourself that looks at love in a totally different way to how to the old tradition of what love was to you. That's not you anymore. That's not chaining you back anymore. Don't allow those old perspectives to chain you down anymore, Taurus. You're a brand new version of yourself, being reborn. Okay, but that's what we have for you, Taurus. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. I'm just going to have a quick toilet break, and then we'll be back with Gemini. Okay, moving along. Gemini, looking at shadow work for you. Starting off with your oracle cards. I'll grab those out for us first. Okay, shadow work message for Gemini in regards to self-love. Self-love shadow work for Gemini. Followed by receiving love. Shadow work for Gemini in regards to receiving love, being open to love. And Gemini, shadow work message for Gemini in regards to past love trauma. Okay. Starting off with self-love, Gemini, we do see gratitude. Okay, finding gratitude for the things in your life that you do love, no matter how small. It really is going to help enable you find that love for yourself as well. So, being grateful for the small things about yourself that it's like, oh, I woke up this morning, amazing, I'm so happy. Those little things. Oh, today I did this successfully. Today I was very generous. I was kind, whatever that is. Paying attention and being grateful for those small things about yourself is really going to help, help you succeed with loving yourself, Gemini. It does say be grateful for every shared moment. Celebrate the miracle of meeting. Okay, so every moment every miracle of meeting a new quality about yourself that you didn't realize that you had. Gratitude for, the people in your life, because, self-love aspects of you can be seen in the people that you have in your life. Noticing how grateful you are for the people in your life makes you realize that that person, they're so awesome. They don't have just any old person in their life. They don't care about everybody, but do you know what? They care about me, so they must see something in me. I'm so grateful that person, whatever it is that they see in me, I'm grateful for that, and helps expand your own self-love in the process. When it comes to receiving love, Gemini, we have the ancient tree. Let your relationship be like an ancient tree, strong through the storms. All right, so a lot of wisdom in, bending and not breaking, being like a tree that can weather anything. All right, so you know what? I'm open to receive love, good and bad. I'm going to be open. I'm going to allow myself to be open and vulnerable. I'm going to allow myself to receive love, to receive whatever the world throws at me. I'm going to be open and take it as it comes, kind of energy. It really is, showing us that there's a sense of maturity in you when it comes to the way that you receive love. Okay, so not overly pushing you to look too deeply for this particular month. I don't feel. We're just being grateful for what we have, and knowing that your relationship with yourself allows you to bend and sway with the breeze, and see how things go for you, and be open to whatever, come whatever may, kind of energy. Past love trauma, we do have the language card coming through here. Learning the language of each other's love, communicating the depths of the soul. All right, so this does sort of show us that some of the traumas that you have experienced in love, whether that be in family connections, in friendship connections, or romantic connections in the past, where you have been a little bit traumatized, let down, betrayed by love. Sometimes there's been it's been because of miscommunication, and that you don't understand love in the same way that that person understands love, or maybe that person doesn't understand love at all. And so there's this kind of language barrier. It's like you're speaking French and that person's speaking Chinese, and because you're both speaking completely different languages, there's a miscommunication, and it's led to some trauma. Look at the state of the world and the amount of trauma in the world at the moment based upon differences. Okay, and it's miscommunications, it's differences, it's different religions, it's different races, it's all those sorts of things. There's a lot of that happening in the world right now that we can look out our door and see happening. And if we all stopped and learnt the language of that other religion that's different to ours, doesn't mean that it's wrong for those people. That's their language, just like your religion is your language. It's all about finding the middle ground a little bit here, and being a little bit more understanding, and not allowing miscommunication to spiral out of control and turn into these big traumatic things that have created all this trauma in your past. So I do feel for some of you here, Gemini, there is a need to reflect a little bit, face some of those past love traumas, and look at the ways where our differences and the way that we both understand love differently may have actually had a part to play in that sort of spiraling out of control and becoming that betrayal, that broken heart, that whatever it was. I do feel that miscommunication has been a strong player in that for you, Gemini. Not understanding each other, not that person not understanding what you need and want in the connection, you not understanding what they need and want in the connection. And the more that our needs are going unanswered, the more that spirals out of control and ends up coming through to maybe as a lack of respect, as a lack of love, or whatever it may be. And obviously there's still definitely I'm picking up that there is definitely still certain things that crossed lines and were out and out betrayals. But looking at what has led to those things before it spiraled out of control, I feel for a lot of you there has been a big miscommunications has been a bit of an issue. That speaking different languages, both understanding love in different ways. Okay, but messages for Gemini in regard to love. Shadow work message for Gemini in regard to love. It's kind of a little bit of a message of reassurance here, in a sense, Gemini. Because, firstly we have the fox. We also have the scythe. Okay, so the scythe comes in super, super quick, and it cuts through all the BS, all right? And the BS it's cutting through is this fox energy. This fox energy is your past energy here, Gemini, where, it's kind of pretty straightforwardly saying it's time to cut out the acting independently. It's time to cut out the selfishness. It's time to cut out the player ways, breaking free from your player ways. It may come through, something may happen very unexpectedly, very sudden, out of nowhere, that changes this for you. The fox is someone who, acts very independently. It can come across as a little bit selfish. This is my player card. Very intelligent, and at the end of the day, that's what you've needed to do for survival. So, definitely not holding that against you at all. But it's time to break free from that energy. It's time to start worrying about others just as much as you worry about yourself. You're not needing to focus on survival anymore. It's time to start focusing on something else that includes others in the journey, not just you, and not just getting your needs met. Okay, Gemini. So sorry if that's a little bit confronting for some of you, but that's what's coming through there. But it leads you to this. We have the key. Reassurance. Okay, so if we cut out that selfish behavior, we cut out our immaturity in selfishness when it comes to the way that we treat others, when with love, we find new opportunities. We find brand new doors opening up for us. Everything leads to successful love opportunities. Okay, all the doors are opening up for you. You just need to cut out the ish. Okay, a little bit here. The fox also very muchly comes from head space, not from heart space as well. So we're cutting out the need to, try to be so intelligent and rational and a little bit manipulative when it comes to getting what we want out of love. We need to start just trusting our hearts, trusting what we feel, taking those opportunities when they're given to us, and seeing where they lead, because they are going to be leading you to success. Okay, Gemini. So a little bit of reassurance there for you, that it's just cutting out all that. There's a reason to do your shadow work, because it's leading you to brand new opportunities with love. All right. So that's what we have for you. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, especially your moon sign, being the full moon energy there. But we will move on over to Cancer. Make sure you do subscribe as well. Okay. So last but not least, we're moving on to Cancer. Yes, you guys are last today in the order, since it is the full moon in Leo. So we did start with Leo. All right, but Cancer, we're going to get your oracle out first. So looking at shadow work for Cancer. Okay, shadow work for Cancer, specifically in regard to self-love shadow work for Cancer. Okay, Cancer, shadow work for Cancer in regard to receiving love. Shadow work in order to be open to love for our Cancers. Whoop. Wanting to fall out there. All right, Cancer. Shadow work for Cancer in regard to past love trauma. All right, so starting off here, Cancer, with self-love, we do have the revival card. Oh, straight away that lets me know that you have felt love for yourself before. You have known self-love. You have known acceptance of self. You have known who you are and accepted yourself exactly for who you are. Why are you not currently? Revival of the relationship with self brings a deeper understanding and love. So it's time to, revive that connection that you have with yourself. You do already know yourself quite well. It's time to remind yourself of that, and to, get back in touch with yourself, and re-strengthen that bond you have with your own self, and accepting yourself a little bit more. So for some of you, I am picking up some activities of just sitting down and maybe writing down all the things about yourself that you've ever done that have been positive. Everything that you can think of, all the good things about yourself that you can think of, that it doesn't matter whether it was something, but when you were a child, I was happy. When I was a child, I used to have I used to play with wild band, and whatever those things are that you have, moments of where you have truly been happy with yourself and loved the person that you are. Sit down and write them down, and revive those things within yourself, the things that have made you feel happy about yourself, reviving those things. So for some of you, this is about doing activities that make you feel closer to yourself. So, certain things like certain self-care things that you've done in the past that have made you feel happy. Whether that's little things. Like for me, sometimes I like to zone out do my nails. So that's a way that I take care of, just spending some time, in my own headspace and just listening to what music and whatnot, and just doing my nails just for the sake of being, a little bit girly. So little things like that, chucking on that face mask, having a nice luxurious bath, going to the park and having a swing on the swings. You're never too old for that. Reviving that sense of self within yourself here. All right, when it comes to receiving love, Cancer, inheritance. There's a lot of love in the world wanting to be given to you. All right, it's part of your inheritance as a soul on this earth. Okay, there's love there for you. It's learning from the past, inheriting wisdom for the future. All right, so the ways that you have received love in the past, think about those moments where you have felt loved. Even the smallest little things, like someone smiled at me at the shops today, I felt loved. That helps provide wisdom for the future, in the sense of, I feel loved. I feel happy and loved when people smile at me, even random strangers. So do you know what? The wisdom I'm going to take from that is I'm going to smile more when I'm down the street doing my shopping, so that I can receive those smiles in return from random strangers. Finding the wisdom from the past, the things that have, made you happy and joyful in the past. But this is linking in with that self-love, the things that have made you feel happy and loved in the past, bringing it back. It's time to bring it all back, all right? Past love trauma, Cancer. We do have the unconditional card, which is a very interesting energy when it comes to past love trauma. Give unconditional love without the expectation of return. So do you know what? I feel like for you, Cancer, this is, giving love to yourself for having survived those past love traumas without expecting it to not hurt, without expecting it to, all of a sudden be magically resolved within you, and you can now let go of that trauma without expectation. Just give yourself some love. You survived. We see you here learning your lessons from that, using the wisdom of what you've learned from those past traumas to help, keep you moving forward and allow you to stay open towards love rather than closing yourself off completely. Giving yourself some unconditional love. It doesn't seem like there's anything hugely hard work for you this month, to be honest, Cancer. It's just about using the past to give yourself, learn lessons from the past in order to move forward in the future here. All right, but Cancer, shadow work message for Cancer in regard to love. Shadow work message for Cancer in regard to love. We do have divine timing on the bottom of the deck there as well, Cancer. So these things take time. Don't put a time limit on it. If you feel as though you're not completely healed, if you feel as though you don't love yourself completely, if you feel as though you're not completely open to love, or you're not healed from the past, these things take time, and everybody's time schedule on those things is different. There is no set time, all right? Some people, can get over a past relationship in a few days. Other people take years to get over past relationships. Everyone is different, all right? So don't hold it against yourself. Firstly, we have the octopus. There's so many different facets that you can utilize here. this has got to do with your, you're learning a little bit here as well, that learning from the past, that you can turn all these things into totally different things for yourself, because, like an octopus has 8 arms, you can multitask all this stuff. You can move forward in a lot of different ways. You're not being held back. You're too smart for that. You've got the octopus energy. The octopus energy, it can find its way out of anything. It's octopus are very, very smart and clever. They can work things out. They'll work it out one way or another. You can try to trap me in a tank, but do you know what? I'm sneaky and I've got all these little tentacles. I'm gonna work my way out. I'll find my way out one way or another. And if that doesn't work, do you know what I'll do? I'll squirt some ink and I'll blow a cloud of ink in your face so you won't see me anyway. There's always ways out. There's always a way out. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. All right, and that's what we're seeing here too. We have the cross. Have faith. You can do whatever you need to do. You can have multiple tools in your little toolbox. You're learning multiple tools here in order to find your way clear of the negative within yourself, the darkness within yourself. You can face this. Have faith in yourself, Cancer. You've got this. Spirit has got your back. It's time to let go of the burdens that have been holding you back and move forward. We also see here the sun. The sun will shine for you, Cancer. You are moving into a period of happiness when it comes to love. All right, your spirit with the cross there as well. It feels like something like destiny is going to be revealed to you. All right, destiny will reveal itself. Destiny will come to light. Destiny will bring you to the light. Your sense of belief in yourself, your faith, your spiritual self, will bring you to the light. All right, the darkness cannot hold you. Use the darkness to thwart your enemies. All right, use that cloud of ink to confuse and confound, so they can't see. Moving in the shadows, they will never see where I'm going now. Use the darkness. Use it to find your way to the light. Okay, Cancer? That's part of what shadow work's about. It's not about getting rid of the darker sides of ourselves. It's about using them and accepting them and learning how to, not control them as such, but use them in a way that leads us back to the light, that allows the light to use the power of the darkness to make the light brighter. Light cannot shine without the darkness. If there's no darkness, the light, it's just everything. Same as the darkness. If there's no light, the darkness is everything. So we do need both in a balance here. And so another way to sort of, I'm saying to tell you the demon analogy as well, that, some people like to think of shadow work as, facing your demons. But you here, you're using your demons. You're putting them in your little toolkit and you're using them. You're not allowing them to take over and take control of you and ruin everything. You're like, no. I've got demons. We've all got demons. Do you know what? I'm going to use the power of those demons to empower me, and I'm going to, use them to amp up the wattage of my light. And that's a beautiful way to do it, Cancer. It actually is. That is actually one of my personal toolbox when it comes to, darkness within self. Utilizing that to push you further when it comes to embracing the light. Because all those dark things about you, it's like what's the example I'm getting? It's like the haters thing, the more that people hate me, the more that I'm gonna, use that to inspire me, to give them even more reasons to hate me. Like, I'm going to use those demons to my benefit. You can't hold me back. Like, the more that you hate me, the more that I want to prove you wrong. the more that I want to prove you that, oh, well, that's your problem, not mine. It empowers me. You know, use that darkness to empower you, Cancer. You're in a really good placement here, actually. This is actually a level up. This is actually a level up from my normal level of shadow work that I delve into for people. This is actually the next level of beyond that. All right, I don't normally talk about that sort of stuff as much because that is a level beyond what normal comprehension of shadow work tends to be. But for you, you're able to use that. You're able to use that, Cancer, and you're able to sort of move in the shadows and use those shadows to your best advantage. All right, because you know we all, like I said, we all have, you know, life is about balance, yin and yang. You're never going to have. There's no point. The point of shadow work is not to be completely pure and innocent and sweet and light. You know, you hear all the time, love and light. Yeah, love and light. But that doesn't mean that there is no darkness empowering that. That doesn't mean that there's not, you know, hatred fueling the fire. Anger, you know, using that, you know, because at the end of it all, things like anger come from passion. They can't, you know, you don't feel angry about something if it means nothing to you. Using that anger to, you know, push you and spur you on even further in a positive way. Using those demons to, you know, it's like using those demons to fly you to heaven. You know, if that's an analogy that makes sense to anyone, but if you understand that, you are definitely doing well. You're leveling up further than you realize. All right, because that is the next level of shadow work, is learning how to capture the darkness and utilize it to your own benefit. Darkness is, you know, hello darkness, my old friend. You know, I could probably talk about that one for a while. I'm not going to lie. I might actually have to do a video one day talking a little bit more about that stuff and showing people that, you know, that it's not to be scared of. Those dark parts of ourselves, they're not necessarily to be scared of. They're to be reined, you know, reined in, like Santa's little reindeer. You put them on the front of your sleigh and you get them to drive you wherever you want. And then you can be Santa, you know, giving gifts to all the kids. You get to be the pop culture Santa. The reindeer, they're just the drivers, right? Anyway, I'm going on a bit of a tangent there, Cancer, but that's what we have for you today anyway. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all again soon.